Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into German pronunciation. It's a deep dive that we hope will be a bit of a shortcut for you, helping you understand the basic sounds of the language right from the start.
Yeah, absolutely. Our goal here is to sort of demystify how German sounds work.
Right.
We'll look at how it's surprisingly similar to English in some ways, but also where the key differences lie, things that can really trip you up if you're not expecting them.
And equip you, the listener, with that foundational knowledge you need for clearer pronunciation.
Exactly.
Because some of the differences are quite intriguing, aren't they? Like, I remember being surprised that J in German sounds like an English Y.
That's a classic one. Or that the German W is pronounced like an English V.
We'll definitely unpack those.
We will.
And why does this matter? Well, getting these sounds right is pretty crucial if you want to understand German words, maybe for travel or just appreciating the culture.
Or even just, satisfying your curiosity. It's really about more than just reading. It's about hearing and, importantly, speaking with a bit more confidence.
Okay, so where do we start? The alphabet itself seems like the logical place.
It is, and the good news is the German alphabet uses the exact same 26 letters as English. So visually, it's familiar.
That's a nice comfort zone to begin with.
It is, but, and this is the crucial point, while the letters look the same, many of them are pronounced quite differently.
Right, that's where the recalibration comes in.
Precisely. And then on top of those 26, you have the 4 unique German characters.
Yeah.
O, U. Those are the umlauts and the us, the ss.
Ah, yes, the ones with the dots and the fancy B. They often seem like the first big hurdle.
They can be, yeah. But we'll tackle them head on.
So
Yeah.
how do we actually start recalibrating our ears? Maybe we should go through the letters.
That's a good plan. Let's break it down systematically. We should focus on where your English-speaking brain might get, well, confused. Now, many letters are quite straightforward. B, D, F, H, K, L, M, N, P, S, T, X. They sound pretty much like they do in English.
So that provides a good anchor.
Definitely. But let's zoom in on the ones that really need a fresh listen.
Like A. Even that one's a bit different, isn't it?
It is, in its consistency. The German A is always a clear ah sound. Think of the A in the English word father.
Ah, okay. Not like cat or cake.
Exactly, always ah. Much simpler.
That consistency is nice. What about C and G? They can vary in English.
Right. Well, C in German usually sounds like a K, like in car, especially before A or U or consonants.
Okay.
But sometimes before E, I, or A, it can take on AA sound like the T's and cats. It's less common, though.
And G.
G is almost always our hard G, like in go. Much more reliable than English G.
Okay, so A is ah, C mostly K, G mostly hard G.
Got it.
But now for the ones I think really cause confusion for English speakers. J, V, and W.
Yeah, these are probably the biggest aha moments, or maybe uh-oh moments initially.
Ha, right. Let's start with J.
Okay. The German J is pronounced yacht, and critically it always sounds like the English Y. Always.
So the word ja, meaning yes,
Is pronounced ya, not ja. That's a fundamental reset you have to make.
it really is. Your brain just sees J and wants to make the English sound. And then there's the W and V situation.
The great swap, as I sometimes call it. The German W, which is pronounced ve, actually sounds like an English V.
So Wasser, water.
Sounds like Wasser.
Okay. And the German V.
The German V, pronounced V, sounds like an English F.
Like in Vater, father.
Exactly. You hear Vater.
Wow. So you literally swap the V and W sounds from English. That definitely takes some getting used to.
It does. Practice helps embed that switch.
What about R and Y? Are they tricky too?
The German R, pronounced air, can be. It's often guttural, produced further back in the throat, almost like you're lightly gargling or clearing your throat. It's quite different from a standard American or British R.
Okay, a bit throaty.
Yeah. And Y, called Upsilon, often sounds like the German U-Umlaut, that rounded E sound we'll get to. Or sometimes just like E.
And one more tricky consonant, Z.
Ah, Z, pronounced sit. It always sounds like is, like in cats or the tsunami.
Never the English Z sound.
Never Z, always in peace. Think Zeit, time, is seat.
Okay, that's a super helpful breakdown of the tricky consonants. Now, you mentioned earlier that German vowels are very consistent. Let's dive into those.
Yes, this is actually a huge relief for learners compared to English. German vowels are remarkably clear and predictable. They don't tend to shift sounds wildly depending on the letters around them.
That sounds promising. How about short vowels first? When do those usually appear?
Short vowels typically show up when they're followed by 2 or more consonants, or in words with double consonants like N or TT.
Okay, so short A.
Like the ot in car, but clipped short. For example, man, man.
Short E.
Like the A in get, as in bet. Bed,
Short.
like the I in bed, or maybe closer to E but short. Think tish table.
Short O.
Like the O in hot, or maybe O cut short, like tough pot.
And short U.
Like the oo in put or book, as in hundog.
That clarity is really helpful.
Yeah.
So same sounds, but longer for long vowels.
Exactly, just held a bit longer. These usually occur when a vowel is followed by just one consonant, or if it's at the end of a word, or sometimes followed by an H.
So long A.
Like father.
Matter. Father.
Long E.
Yeah, almost like the A in name, but purer. Sea lake.
Long I.
Like machine. Leave. Love.
Long oo.
Oh, like what bread?
And long U.
Ooh, like moon. Stool chair.
The consistency is definitely a plus. Okay, now, what about those vowel combinations, the diphthongs? They often look intimidating.
Right, because our English brains see two vowels and expect something complicated, maybe multiple sounds. But in German, diphthongs create one single gliding sound. And again, they're very consistent.
Let's tackle I first. That one looks like it should be E or I.
It does, but it's not. I always sounds like the English word I.
Always. The classic example is mine, meaning my. So many learners say mean at first.
But it's mine.
Exactly. Mine is pronounced mine. Burn that one into your memory.
Okay, I equals I. Got it. What about IE?
Now, IE, that one does sound like a long E, like in C, which means she or they.
So I is E, I is I. Easy to mix up initially.
Very easy. Just takes practice. And the last common one is you.
Ew, what does that sound like?
You sounds like oi in boy or toy.
Example.
Hoyt, meaning today, pronounced hoyte, or new, meaning new, is noi.
Right. Oi. Okay, that covers the main diphthongs. Now, for the really unique German characters, the umlauts and that sharp S.
Yes, the ones that visually stand out. Oo, and us. These don't really have direct English equivalents, so they need a bit of focus.
Let's start with the A with dots.
Right. A sounds pretty much like the short E in the English word bed or get.
Okay, like A.
Exactly. Think of Mädchen girl, pronounced Mädchen. Sometimes you see it in plurals too, like man becomes menner, men. The sound changes.
Ah, interesting. So it's not just decoration.
No, it signals a sound change, often linked to grammar.
Okay, now oo. Oo with dots. This one feels tricky.
It is a bit unnatural for English speakers. The way to approach it is try to make the English A sound like a get.
Okay.
Now keep making that sound, but round your lips tightly as if you were going to whistle or say ooh, ooh. That's the idea. It's that rounded A sound. You hear it in shin, meaning beautiful.
Sure, okay, takes practice. And oo with the dots.
Similar concept. Start with the English E sounds like in C.
E.
Now keep that E sound going, but again, round your lips tightly like you're blowing a kiss or saying ooh. Push your tongue forward slightly maybe.
E. Ooh.
Exactly. It's like the French U sound in two. You hear it in mood, meaning tired.
Mood. Right. These definitely require some lip gymnastics.
They do it first. And finally, that character that looks a bit like a capital B with a tail.
The O?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
It's called esset, or sometimes scharf's S, meaning sharp S.
And how does it sound?
It simply sounds like a voiceless double S, like the S in kiss or miss.
So just an S sound.
A sharp hisses a sound. You find it in words like Straße, meaning street, or heißen, meaning to be called, as in ich heiße.
Ah, like in the phrase we'll practice later. Okay. It's worth noting sometimes you see S written instead, right?
Yes, especially in Switzerland. They don't use the S at all. They just use S.
Yeah.
And sometimes online, or in all caps, it gets replaced by SS. But in standard German, it's very much its own letter with that specific S's sound.
Good to know. Okay, wow, we've broken down the individual letters, the combinations, the unique characters. Now let's try putting it all together.
Yes, let's apply these rules to some common German words and phrases. This is where it starts to click.
Okay, first word, auto car.
Sounds very similar, right? Auto. Notice the clear German O diphthong, like au in now, and the clear O sound.
Right. Next, Zug train.
Zug. Hear that sharp tess for the Z and the long oo sound for the U.
Zug had it. How about Schule, school?
Schule, Zure, is like the English sh. And a clear oo sound, then the E at the end is like a soft oo or E. Schule.
Okay, Apfel, apple.
Apfel. Short, clear A sound like Apfel.
And boosh, book.
Wooch, long oo sound,
Hmm.
and then that chi at the end. It's not K. It's a softer, breathy sound made in the back of the throat. Booch. It's another sound English doesn't quite have.
That koosh needs practice, too. Okay, now for some useful phrases. This one is key. Ich heiße Ben.
My name's Ben.
Perfect. Ich heiße Ben. You got the E sound in ich, which is softer here, like sh almost. Then heiße, with the E sounding like I, and the ish sounding like is. Ich heiße Ben.
Ich heiße Ben. Very useful. How about wie geht's? How are you? Wie geht's? The W sounds like V. The I sounds like E. The Gates has a long E sound and ends with that dead sound, wie geht's.
Wie geht's? Great for starting a conversation, and this last one seems incredibly helpful for beginners.
Oh, absolutely. This is maybe the first phrase you should learn. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch.
Which means?
I speak a little German. Let's break it down. Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch.
Wow, lots of sounds there.
Yeah, you have the ch ich, the sp and shin spreche, the a and ein, the sh sound ein bisschen, and the u in ch sounds in Deutsch.
Ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch.
Exactly. Saying that immediately tells people where you are with the language, and honestly, people really appreciate the effort.
It feels empowering just saying it. Okay, so we've covered a huge amount today. Hopefully everyone listening feels their ear is starting to tune in a bit more to German sounds.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just quickly recap the main points. The alphabet looks familiar, but the pronunciation, that's where the key differences are.
That's the big one. But remember the upside. That remarkable consistency, especially with the vowel sounds. It's predictable once you know the rules.
Right. And pay attention to those special letters. and They're unique sounds that need a little focus.
Definitely. And don't forget those surprising swabs. V sounding like F, W sounding like V, and J sounding like Y.
Getting those down makes a huge difference.
It really does. I think the main takeaway is that German pronunciation isn't chaotic. It might seem strange at first compared to English, but it's actually very logical and consistent once you understand its system.
So here's something to think about as we wrap up. Now that you have a handle on these fundamental building blocks, these sounds, how might mastering these seemingly small details open up bigger things for you?
Yeah, maybe it's feeling more confident ordering food in Berlin, or asking for directions, or just recognizing names and places when you watch a German film or read a book.
That next step could simply be introducing yourself, ich heiße, or even spelling out your name using the German letter sounds. It's amazing what can open up.
Absolutely. What new worlds could getting these basics right unlock for you? It really starts here with the sounds.